Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. January 2026 minutes.
Make a motion on minutes.
Support.
I have a motion for Shelby and support from management to approve the minutes. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. February schedule.
We have to meet at least the 10th and the 24th for sure. I didn't know if you wanted to meet the 3rd. 17th, I'm gone that week, but Chantry could do it if you thought you had to meet that week.
I really wanted to meet that week.
What?
I really wanted to meet that week.
Go for it. Chantry will be there then. She'll do a great job.
I did too, but
Go for it. I don't care. I just won't be there.
we feel the need to meet more than the 10th and the 24th.
I'll make a motion for the 10th and 24th.
Motion,
You can always call a special.
February 10th and 24th. Support. Support from Lauren. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carried. Consider the approval of Wellness Committee fund request. Must be,
There's a few of us here from the Wellness Committee, but in the past, couple years ago, we come to you guys and asked for additional dollars for incentive for the wellness program. And as you know, the wellness program, for the participation that we get, there's significant dollars of savings for our health insurance premium. So to kind of correlate with that and increase the incentive for those that participate, we had come to you guys and requested some dollars to do that, and then you have set $2,500 the last couple of years, so we're just asking if you'll match that again this year.
any discussion?
If you want some numbers, I had, these dollars were the dollars that are available to all staff, not just those that are covered under the health insurance, which is correlated with the savings. These dollars we have kind of separate but yet together. So if any of the non-insured individuals do decide to participate, they fill out an in-house form that we've created for physical, just saying that it's basically completed, and they have their physician sign off, just like all the staff have to have, you know, that fax form and physician signed form turned in. And we did have last year we didn't have, or this past year we had one non-insured staff participate for some of those incentive dollars. The year before we didn't have anybody, but sometimes it takes a little bit for things to catch on. And we don't have a ton of staff that aren't covered, so.
I think it's well worth our money. So
I'll make a motion. We put in 2,500.
I have a motion from Schulte. I have support. Support from the board. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
It'd be nice if somebody bring brownies or something.
Good judgments. Good. Discuss, consider wellness participation program incentives. Jason and I talked a little bit about it. Jason, what you got?
I gave you guys lots of time to review my efforts since I sent them out about 11 last night. But there are printed copies here, and I think before action we should probably give a little more review and send it on to the Wellness Committee. I did not include them in the email. I updated all 3 of the draft policies to reflect largely what we're considering or talking about. I ultimately decided on an $80 per month incentive. I've been figuring for per pay period $40 each paycheck maybe will get people's attention. And it was driven, I know I talked to you last week, Jerry, but then it got modified. I was thinking that full 41,000 or 42,000 almost is our savings currently, so I was first using that number, but that is stepped in. I mean, it's a 5-point system, So if we don't reach 80% participation, we would lose 1 point, so 20% of that. So my $80 was driven by, that's about $3,800 per point that we would lose if there's lower levels of participation, divided by the number of employees that would not be participating to lose that. I got to about $57 a month. So 80's a bit higher than that, but per pay period, I thought $40 per pay period just sounded like a number to use, I guess. But that's where the thinking went, or where the ideas came from.
Thoughts, comments, questions?
As I went through it, I kind of liked the one with the blue on top, the one ISAC provided as a model policy. I don't know that that accurately or adequately addresses how it gets implemented. So if you participate this calendar year, this wellness year of 26, we would achieve the savings come next January when we learn of it, and we would consider that for the following fiscal year's implementation. So there's kind of a lag, there's interesting turnaround time. I think the other two policies address that and identify that a little better. And it also, I included language that when we implement it, everyone will receive the participation rate until there's a full wellness year to participate in to attain it for future years. And each of the draft policies identified a July 1 hire date for new employees. I think that's open to discussion. I don't want to see somebody start in late September and have a month and a half to try to schedule a wellness visit and attain what's needed. And so I think it's good to have some sort of grace period for new employees in that wellness or calendar year as well. So
Before we do anything, should we meet the employees?
I think it'd be good for them to have
See
a,
how much pushback we get? I think it's a good idea, Jason, I just don't know. Do we just implement it and go with it, or do we talk to them, or don't we? Don't we let them?
my opinion is Chantry's done a standout job trying to encourage people to help us get to that. I think it's been before them. There's 41,000 reasons this year, 41,779.50 this year to do it. I'm not trying to push anything on the employees, and if they do the simple things to attain the discount level, there's no cost to them. So I'm not opposed to establishing a policy with the wellness committee's insight and keeping this before the citizens. I'm not trying to slide anything in, but just,
Yep.
I think explaining why and what it looks like is reasonable, but
Chantry, do you see any reason we get any serious pushback, or?
I mean, you're always gonna, nobody wants to pay more if they
No.
don't have to, but like Jason said, if they do the things they need to do, because the taxpayer shouldn't have to, come up with any additional premium discount, or, if we're eligible based on the staff participation to get these premium discounts to help our premiums, which in turn, the landowners or property taxpayers are the ones that are paying for that, premium that's free to us. If they do what they need to do, which the majority do, I did not share this meeting, but we only had, at the end of our last wellness year, there was 5 staff that had not participated in either of the 2 items needed, but 2 of those 5 were no longer employees before the end of the program. So there was only 3 staff in total for all of our, between conservation, secondary roads, courthouse, sheriff's department, so we have good participation and good numbers. I feel like implementing this is kind of more of a preventative than like a retroactive kind of thing, like we're just forward thinking, I guess. I don't know. there'll probably be people are gonna have something to say about it, because somebody always does, but if they're doing what they should do, then nothing changes, they still have no premium charges, so, that makes sense.
We talked in our office, we just have to make sure, our policy runs from January till October, okay? So that if an individual did not do those 2 steps, then they'll be penalized, they'll have to start paying, but then they come back and say, oh, December, next year, they come and say, oh, I did my physical already, so, I'm done, I shouldn't have to pay, because we won't start until July, you know what I mean? So we just gotta we have to be very specific. Yes, very specific when we talk about this. Yeah.
To work all that in and,
Yeah.
make it make sense to everybody, because we're working with a wellness year that runs from January to October 31st. We're working with a calendar year that runs from January to December, and then we're working with a fiscal year that's gonna start in July 1st. So, when you throw all of that in there to make that make sense to all the staff, so everyone is on the clear understanding, that's the logistics of that's what we're trying to nail down, I guess.
And we have to be, not everybody has a computer, but we're more than, we've had employees come to my office, they did their assessment on our, and we're willing to help whatever we have to do. So if they need help, they just got to come and ask, and we will help them. So we just got to be very clear on, there's no gray areas, all black and white. Just because.
Any other questions about this?
To that point as well, as for, employee understanding, is the fact that we're considering implementing this going forward. Even if they didn't participate last year, we're granting participation status for this upcoming budget year. This year, which there's plenty of time for them to be aware of and do the things that need our consideration in next year's budget year. So I don't think we're putting something on them, and we're granting participation status as it's implemented.
We're not starting tomorrow. Well, we are, but we aren't.
Yeah, we start implement March 1st. They still got
I just
how many
chose
months?
that day of
Yeah.
March 1st, something prior to the fiscal year start, but that
We
can be
just-
modified.
Just gotta make it clear to the employees so they understand it.
And I think if we do something like this one, we would just continue using the insurance cost sheet like Chrissy has had in the past as the document that gets referenced or whatever, rather than the policy maybe having all that information in it and needing to change the policy every year. You're just addressing the rate structure as the handbook would identify.
All right.
I would be hesitant to take action to give approval today, but if there's a preference on which model, which draft you'd prefer to go with, we could narrow that down and then tweak it at some point.
I never had time to read any of them over, so. I never put it off. You table it till next time.
The rest of your business?
Even somebody sent them out so far ahead.
I waited to see what you guys drafted. Put this together.
Okay, with everybody, you table it till next meeting? All right.
Didn't even get any copies of that stuff.
You did? It wasn't in your top folder?
I didn't get a folder.
Someone took it then. Somebody took your folder, because you had one. I gave it to you.
Here it is, laying down.
I'm pretty sure I gave it to you. I was like, now am I losing my mind? Which I could be.
It is 9:02. We have a 9 o'clock to discuss approved CETI sound session. Slid off. It's in the courthouse. Who's got that?
They're out there, here.
Like, what are you looking at? I got none of that stuff.
Moved up here if we want that.
Good
morning.
Good morning.
So we just wanted to talk to you, we had come in a few months ago and asked about drilling holes for some video equipment in the courtroom. And the equipment people came back and said that they would need an outlet put in the hall to move the rack back. So we got an estimate for that. It's to drill the hole and put in an electrical outlet in the hall to move that big rack back that our video equipment and sound equipment plugs into. Okay. So that first number up at the top there, subtotal to add a receptacle in the passageway for equipment. That's what that is for. And so we're asking if the county would pay for that expense so that we can move the rack back. After what happened in Lyon County, and I was the one that had to deal with that over there also, it would be nice to have the box in a secured area. That hallway we can lock, and there's no glass to the door, so they can't break the glass to get into the door. So that's one of the main reasons for moving it back there.
So it'd be $1,490 or $93.04.
Well, the bottom part is for electrical outlets. We are going to mount the TVs that are currently on stands in the courtroom. They recommended putting outlets up by the TVs instead of having them plugged into the floor, which we would need a extension cord for that. So the total to get both of those little projects done would be the $1,493.04.
And you're asking for the total, right?
I am, yes.
Make a motion to do it.
I have a motion from Schulte to redo the sound system.
For the $1,493.04.
For 14,304. Do I have support? Supported. Support from Warren. Any more discussion?
My understanding when we looked it over was that they were just wanting approval for use of the space in that way. I thought the court system would or could or should pay for those needs with the state's focus on us clearly spending too much property tax dollars and needing to reduce
Is that a
spend.
possibility?
I'm
Is that a
not
possibility?
in favor of
For the state to
county
pay
funding
for it?
this.
I can ask. My protocol is to go through the county first, because they will be fixed assets to the courthouse. I would assume that would be declined, but I can certainly ask and come back later if that's what you'd like me to do.
Let's do it in a motion.
I have a motion and support. Anything else? Any other comments, questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Review, consider approval of Osceola County Condemnation Commission.
Every year we have to send this to the state for, if it ever goes to eminent domain. Hopefully it never does, but this is the current list. We had one person for city property that I took off that's deceased. And I didn't know, I think Don Hibbing and Gail Buckles are retired. Is Karen Symington too, or, no, I didn't know. I don't know if they could still be on there if they were retired.
Well, I don't see why they couldn't, personally.
Do you know if there's a rule or don't you know?
I don't know. No, I don't. We're supposed to have 7 in each category. And of course, real estate, we do not.
Should a guy ask them if they're willing to, or do we just leave it?
I did. I think we did a couple years ago. I called everybody to let them know, ask. I know I had
we
to
can
call
ask
around.
Whoever's replaced by that Sibley State. They've been doing too. There's a lease. I can't
Oh,
remember your last name is, and
Yeah.
that new. Who's the
Police Galveski is like a lone person, I think, and then at Bryce Biker, I think. Is
Bryce?
the-
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But I don't know if it makes a difference. He doesn't live in the county.
I'm assuming they have to live in the county.
Police does.
At least us, yeah.
Questions, comments? What do you guys want to do?
Who's retired?
Well, Gail Buckles is,
No.
she retired from the bank, and so Don Hibbing retired from Farm Credit, so,
The other two are the ones in question.
yeah. Want somebody to ask them? Like Elise,
Yeah, I mean,
or even like, I don't know, Connie Schwarzkopf? or-
she's already on the list.
Oh, she is, I didn't see it.
I can call the bank and ask her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so we take action on the rest, or do you wanna wait? She would probably have to be approved separately then?
Yeah, so maybe we should table it till we get a complete list, maybe, and then do it all.
Oh, in case there's, I was on it once when Highway 60 came through, and they took land, and there was not, like, they offered them this much, and they didn't think that was enough, and they would go to this board and say, what is this board think it's worth? And it's kind of what they did then. I suppose if, if the pipeline came through or something, and somebody didn't agree, or, I don't know, well,
Yeah.
they're really not gonna buy that land, so I don't know if that would qualify or not, would it?
I don't know.
Okay. We'll table that till you make a few phone calls, and I could even talk to her if I see her. Consider approval of mail services LLC for House File 718 mandate.
This is a company that has been doing it for the last 2 years. I did get a quote from another company and it was basically the same. The other company was higher on the per page, but their envelopes were cheaper than this, and I kind of penciled it out. It's the same price. I just stayed with mail services since they've done with, they helped us out the last 2 years and done a good job, so.
You're happy with it, I'd stay
Yeah.
with them if it's not a lot more. I would need not to say that.
Motion to approve the mail services.
Motion from Warren,
Second.
support from DeBoer. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Same motion to disapprove. Motion carried. Review quarterly reports.
I didn't make copies, but here they are.
She'll never step it up. She's kind of like behind every year.
This guy came and fixed it. He did, supposedly, but
They call that job security.
yeah, they even replaced the camera. Now they said it's a software. It's always something. Mhm. What we discussed last week. No.
Well, I guess discuss, review. Budget.
So all the tabs on the side of your booklet is all the changes that we discussed last week that I made. To kind of go over those a little bit. The first one is Veterans Affairs. When she met with us, they hadn't had a chance to have their meeting yet, so they gave her a 3% raise. So that reflects those changes to that. And then the next one is conservation revenues. I don't know, something, but the 2,000 for REAP, I just added that.
I don't think he had that in.
Yeah, he didn't, no, so we added that to it. And then the next one is the sheriff's office. I changed those two line items that he had 50,000 in back to 1,500 and 1,000. Made those changes. And then under my department, I increased my insurance to include family. Just in case I have that next year. And then the non-departmental, I changed public safety back to what we are currently giving them. And then I changed the next page, on page 2, I changed rides to $2,000. And I changed Upper Des Moines to $2,000 that the board discussed last week.
We can provide that
nonprofit contract, yeah. I think that was it for Department 99. And then the libraries, I changed that all to 16,000. The board discussed last time. And then I did the transfer from general basic into general supplemental fund, $75,000 that we had talked about. I know we talked about solutions contract, about going to a 5-year contract. I got that contract. I'm not for sure if we want to do that, because if it looks like, I haven't run it past Dawn yet, but it looks like if we went with that and we got out, and we can, but then we got to pay the balance of the contract. So, you know, if we got out in year 2, do we have to pay the remaining 3 years? I got to talk to Dawn about that, but that's what it looks like to me, so. And then the front, I ran a new levy sheet and then a new fund balances. I don't know, you have to guide me how you want. General supplemental, you know, I upped it from 105 to $1.20, and I left it at the $1.20. And then I'll get a little bit more ending fund balance of 138,000 versus 80,000. So didn't know how the board wanted me to handle that, but these are all the fund balances per fund. They're looking, you know, I think they're looking pretty good until the legislation does something to do more, but.
So general supplemental, you had up to 120 from what?
105, 15 cents.
Looks pretty good to me.
They sent out that email about Joel Rowan about tech assessment, provided by a team from ISAC and other county officials. Would that go under data processing?
Yep, it would.
If we were to consider that, it's a $4,000 cost for a 2-day assessment that they just kind of do an overview of what the county's operating system entails, what they think would maybe work better. He said with the jail using Alpha Wireless will create an added layer, but it's just, they get an overall view of what's being used and what maybe needs to be brought to our attention. There's nothing that they push or sell or, and I think it'd be worth considering. They would have county operating approach in mind, and they're well aware of that, versus just an outside vendor that we're happy with Premier. They spoke well of Premier, but they aren't in the county realm. as much, so I think there'd be value to getting that assessment and getting a little bit of a snapshot or an idea of what should be on our radar. I'd certainly consider it for next budget year at $4,000. I don't know if it's something that we would want to consider in this year or have the ability to do in this year, but
I think we do have the money to do it. We would have the money this year to do
certainly
it.
put it on a future agenda for discussion unless we want to just consider it for next year's
We
budget.
would have the money in this year's budget to cover it out of data processing.
Reach out to individuals in Clay County. They spoke highly. They had it done recently. Lyon County has had it done within the last few years. It helped in their transition to actually having on-staff IT person. Something for consideration. Again, I forwarded that email late yesterday as well. But and to the Solutions or Harris question, I don't like 7%, and I don't think they're deserving of 7%, but I don't know that we have an option. And with potential changes in vendors coming down the line, I don't know that we want to be locked into 5 years.
Yeah,
That's my concern.
after I read the contract, that's my concern as well. I have to have Don look at it. I just got it laid out yesterday, so but that would be my concern as well.
So under data processing, that 82,000 for Solutions would have to go up 7% then?
Yeah,
It shows
well,
the same as last year.
yeah, we still have quite a bit in that line item this year, so I think we're gonna be good. That's also
Okay.
like our document locator and everything, so I think we're gonna be okay.
I can't say with certainty, but I think that tech assessment would
Help
look
that
at
too.
these items too. And
hmm This was good until we got the new cameras outside. And then- so they put a new camera in here, and now the software isn't compatible. It's not. They were here a couple days last week, and they still couldn't get it. So I don't know. I know. I hate it, but we need it. So
Any other discussion?
I know, I'd like this not to sign for 5 years.
yeah, I don't think we can. I know the EMS advisory board met, so they'll come to the next board meeting.
What was that?
The advisory board met, EMS advisory board met last Friday. Did you get that email? No?
I did not.
I didn't either.
Okay. Okay. You know, look, she thought she sent it to you, because I asked if you guys got an email. She said yes, so. So they're coming to the next board meeting for their recommendation. Yeah, she said last Friday's the 23rd, so one day last week she should have emailed it to you.
Alright, I don't.
I'll have to ask her then.
Okay. Anything else on the budgets?
Are you guys happy with since I increased general supplemental, are you give us a little bit more of a cushion?
Looks pretty good to me.
It is, I guess.
Yep.
Not necessarily.
I just didn't know what kind of fund balance you were looking for. So that's, I mean, with a $75,000 transfer helped, but I kept, the levy the same. We'll see if there's any more changes coming down the pike, and then you guys can. We have to have everything finalized by the first week in March for sure. So.
So we've got a couple more meetings we can adjust if we have to.
Maybe stop and ask Sandy what was discussed.
Okay.
Anything else on budgets? We have a 9:30. Morning.
Good morning. Janet Stofford representing McCollum Museum. And if my voice gets too bad, I'm turning it over to Larry. Anyway, what we propose to do for our supervisor's project is to do additional landscaping around the museum. And then we're also requesting additional parking spaces south of the museum. And I'm showing you a picture of the museum, and the parking spaces would be on the southwest side toward the ball field. So I'm going to pass this around. We've had a lot of increases in people attending the museum, attending our programs, more school reunions coming, and we don't have adequate parking. I think we only have space for 4 to 5 people. And we're also asking that we have designated handicap parking for those that need to be closer to the museum. We're also going to ask for that same funding for landscaping around that brick Sibley High School sign. And we want to use cement rather than rocks, because most of the people that get around the sign aren't young, and walking on rocks is really problematic. So we're asking for cement work, and I think that's going to be pretty expensive around that, and underneath the 2 benches, so that we have a unified look for that part of the museum. And so I've talked to Susan too, because we are sitting on city property. And also, I'm going to see if I need to contact the park board so that all entities are involved in this request for additional parking. So that, if they say, oh, we'll take care of it, then we will always have the other projects that we need to have help with. I think back in November, I sent you some copies of the carpeting project that we did for our meeting room, and that has enhanced the meeting room so much. And we are actually getting more community groups coming into the museum to meet, whether it's the library book readers, people, or other people wanting to do more tours. So this is our request for funding for this particular project. Did I miss anything, Larry?
Did you know that Jan's going to retire this year? After 30 years of being our curator, she's looking for a new one. So she should be commended for all of her dedication and duty over those years. We won't see her again next year.
You need somebody younger.
Thanks for your years of service.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure. It has. When I married Vern in 1995, I said to myself, what am I going to do in Sibley? Then there was the museum. So it has been such a pleasure to work with this, because we have such a wonderful museum, just wonderful. So that's all I have.
Any idea on costs or anything?
No, I don't, because the last parking lot we did, and I think that was done 20 years ago. the city did for us. And so that's why off to the side, I'm thinking, well, will they fund that or will they say, no, it's up to you? So, yeah, there's just more activities in the park now. And I think this will benefit the people that are going to the softball games and the people that are going to the community events in the shelter house and picnics and stuff. Thank you.
Who's next?
Well, my name is Bill Huntcomb. I'm from Ashton Museum. Just wanted to thank you guys in advance for what you have done last year and help us finish off the front of our museum. The heat bill has really dropped since we fixed that portion of it. We replaced 10 foot of flooring on the inside, but our big thing this year is to do the back door. The sill is, put some wood screws in it. We're this long and I couldn't find anything solid enough to hold that. So we're gonna replace it, or in the process of getting some bids and stuff. So that is our biggest thing for this summer. The cement work on the outside was all done by the city because that is a city building. So they have helped us in some of the projects that we had. But if it wouldn't have been for what we got from you guys last year, we'd still owe some money on what was done on the flooring and stuff. So, but that is all up to date. So we had an estimate written up and turned in on what this back door is going to cost us. But it's an old building, you know how that goes. You get tearing the old sill out, there might be a few stringers we have to replace in there. But that's all in that estimate that we gave. So, like I say, thank you in advance, because without your help, we couldn't have got it finished. So, thank you again.
I'm kind of gonna talk about kind of the same thing as what some of the other ones talked about. Thanks again for your ongoing support for our museums. This year, we will be celebrating 50 years since the Tracy House Museum was organized. We thank the people that formed it for their foresight into having to keep the history of Ocheyedan and the surrounding areas preserved. We've been working on restoration of the house, the old house, and I tried to get some pictures printed up, but for some reason my printer probably is froze up. I don't know, it wasn't working this morning. But the foundation is pretty well done. They got that, they jacked it up, and some of the pictures I wanted to show you was the guys that are doing it are older. They're probably 70 plus, and
That's not old yet.
no, I'm sorry, Mike. But there's pictures. I mean, I've got pictures of those guys crawling underneath there, and this space is not very big. I would have had claustrophobia for sure. But they got underneath there and they jacked it up and they put the foundation back underneath it. Most of it was just sitting on big rocks. So they got that done. We tore out all the old rocks that were around that formed the foundation. And those guys chipped all that mortar off of those rocks and reused them. And if you look at it now, it looks like the day that it was put in there 100 years ago. So they did an awesome job on that part. Right now, through the winter, he's rebuilding the windows. We put in for some bids for new windows. And of course, the new windows we wanted them to be they all would have had to be special built because every single window is a different size in that house. So he's rebuilding them himself, and he's doing a pretty good job. He showed us a couple pictures and stuff like that. So we're trying to keep it as period, like the time period where it came from as much as we can. So instead of the cement out front, that by the front door, that's going to be like a wooden porch thing that we're going to put there. And same thing, we've never used the door to the east, and he's going to redo that so we can use that, so it'll be a walk, and we can open it up for air and stuff like that and get airflow through there, so that'll maybe take some of the musty smell out. Plus they on the underneath, he did a lot of sealing and stuff like that, so that'll keep a lot of the musty stuff from coming up from underneath. So another thing we did was we put new carpet in our trailer house. We put new carpet in the living room, dining room, kitchen, and in through that area, and then we put new flooring in the bathroom, laundry room area, which, how once you start digging into that stuff, like those guys were saying, the floor in the entryway was pretty well rotted. We had to put a whole new underflooring in there before we could do that. So looks very nice. But now we have to put everything back. You know how that is. And that's where all of our literature and stuff like that information is. So we've got a lot of that kind of stuff that we're moving. Luckily, some of the really heavy stuff, the boys at the elevator take their lunch hour and they help. They come up and they've moved some heavy stuff for us. We're really thankful to have those guys there and willing to help us. So we are lucky that way. Also, we are putting in for a couple grants, and one of the grants is we have to remove quite a few trees. We have a lot of ash trees that have gone bad. We had one that fell on the corner of the house. Luckily it didn't break anything too bad. We were able to fix it. But we have more that if we don't do something, we're going to have more fallen. And so we're going to take those out. We've got a bid in for new trees to replace them. Basically the grant's going to cover the removing, and we're going to have to come up with the money to replace the trees in there. Andy has gotten a bid for us for some different ones, and of course they say don't put all maples in, because that's kind of what everybody's doing, is putting all maples. So we've got about three or four different kinds, some elms and some different ones to put in there. So that's going to cost us some money. We need a new fence. I don't know if you've been, we've got a wooden fence out in front, and that needs to be replaced. So that's kind of the funding that we're going to use from you guys. Once again, the stuff that we've been able to do, thanks to the funding that you guys have helped us with and the grants that we've applied for and stuff, has kept us going, because that's pretty much what we live on. So we're trying to get some programs going, especially with our 50th. We've got different things that we're working on. But like I said, we're getting older and more tired. It seems like it takes us longer to recover and get stuff done than it used to. So we're really working on trying to get some younger people in and involved. We have men's coffee, and we're lucky the guys from Harris come over quite often, and they're getting some information. They're kind of getting some ideas of how to get their stuff going. We hold a lot of stuff for Harris and Melvin and stuff, and we really would like to help those guys get going. And so yeah, I know they're there too. Their numbers are small, and it's hard to get stuff done. So once again, thank you very much for your support.
Thank you.
In the last. I sound like a broken record, but I want to thank you for your support. Through your support, we were able to put in a heater, a big heater in the pavilion, so that when we have events out there in the spring and fall, we can warm it up in there, because that gets to be a nice box out there. Just to let you know some of the other things that have gone on. We have been hosting some groups out there that want tours, and we're on the calendar for the Economic Development Area meeting. That's next year. The Fair Board meeting, Northwest Iowa Fair Board meeting. Am I saying that correctly? Association. They're planning to meet out there, and PEO contacted me. They want me to do a program for them out there, so they're going to keep me busy. Anyway, something I want to share with you also is we are receiving a donation. I was having printer problems this morning too, and then I ran out of ink, and it's like, there's a couple different copies there. Send that around. It's not an egg donation, but it's a county donation, and it's someone with a sharp eye and a good memory realized that this snowmobile was going to be trashed or scrapped, but that snowmobile was given by the Merrick family or Merrick company to the county for a rescue vehicle back in 1967. And so our board was real excited about that. It's pretty cool. It's just this little snowmobile. It's green, and it had a sled behind it, and they would use it for rescue situations. So he found out about this and called me, and I said, well, I'll have to contact the board. The board was excited. Yes, let's take it. So we will be getting that piece of history for the county. With further donations and monies, we plan to fix the floor. When I was walking with a walker before I had my hip replaced, I was out there and I hit one of those holes, and that wasn't such a good situation. And so the board decided we want to get those holes fixed. There are a lot of divots in there from I don't know what, but then have a coating put on it. It's a tougher, harder surface than an epoxy. But that's our goal next, and we've applied for a grant for that as well. So we hope to, make it a more pleasant area in the center, and then it'll make cleanup a lot easier when we do have groups out there. We hosted the Republican dinner out there last fall, and just would make cleanup a lot easier and safer. So that's all I have. Come and see us anytime. And as a group, we are kind of working on some ideas too, for everybody working together to maybe make some scavenger hunts programs. I was just down talking to Andre, and he has another idea that I'll throw out to you guys. So, but yeah, thanks much.
Do you guys have certain hours that you're open? We had somebody come in this summer and wanted ideas where to go. And I thought, all these cool museums that we have, I wanted to, but I didn't know the hours, so.
Well, we haven't set hours yet. We
Okay.
will be doing that, but we are working on, as a whole group,
Okay.
we've submitted a bid for a grant, and we're going to come up with some brochures that
Okay.
will list all of the
Okay, awesome.
museums
Yeah, 'cause they
and
were.
some activities. We're hoping to create a scavenger hunt for kids. But he's got an idea for something for adults too, that we could, especially with the 250th for this year, and would work well for them, and with all of the county celebrations. So.
Okay, that'd be good. They just come to my office, and I was trying to figure out what times everything was open.
Every Tuesday.
Okay.
Tuesday morning.
Every Tuesday morning, okay.
And I'm open on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to, we say 2 to 4, but I'm always there until 5.
Your Tuesdays and
But then
Thursdays.
summer,
And then
open
yours just-
Sundays.
And Sundays,
Tuesday
we're
morning.
open and 5 appointments.
Okay.
Ours will be open.
All right, they were just looking for cool things to look at, and they already been to
Yeah.
Hawkeye Point, and so I was trying the museums that, they're, all the
Bring
work.
some, Kalamazoo brochures.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Then we can hand those out when, that would be awesome.
And if we get this flyer, Arlen Pedley is working on, Pedley's are working on that
Okay.
too, so.
Yeah, that'd be great to have some.
When we find out the
Okay.
foundation monies.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
That's what we're planning.
Thank you for all you guys' hard work. So,
Yes, thank you.
spent a lot of time.
Did you get that snowmobile? We'll give you a test ride on that.
Wow.
A little information on that snowmobile. That was used to rescue my mom in '75. She was very, very sick, and they had that snowmobile with that thing and brought her. They had to go about 3 miles down the road before they could get to where the ambulance was to bring her to Spirit Lake.
That's
So
cool.
That was that one.
Oh, that's
We
pretty
need that
cool.
information.
That's cool.
Yeah, because I have the article, well, that picture was in the paper, but then there's an article too. And
Yeah, if we can get some stories to go with
That
it.
was, when I heard you saying that, I said, I know exactly when that was used. It was not a very warm time, I'll tell you that.
Horrible picture, but that's the sled right there.
I do.
Looks like a nice
Yeah, I was old enough, I was
All right.
75.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you very much, thanks for all for coming.
You didn't use that. So how's it going?
Go ahead. 7 more stitches put in yesterday. Just doesn't want to heal. I think it's because Rochelle's knee.
Yep.
Honey on it. I had a sore here for weeks. I could not get it. So finally I put some honey on it. It healed right up. Honey has a lot of
We
antibacterial.
should have talked to Dr. Broxman's guys. You tell him.
We pay them out of 2 different line items. Yep,
Where's the other one? Non-departmental, the
non-departmental,
hotel motel.
the hotel motel, we have 15,000 budget in there, so I think I take 2 out of there. So that's on page, non-departmental number, page 4, yep. And then, I gotta find the other one here.
Yeah, last year was 55. 15,500.
Total?
The last one? Yeah.
Yeah, we get 5,000 each, we get 5,000 each. Mm-hmm.
What was that, Mike? What'd you say?
Of course, I thought we gave him last year was 15,500, wasn't it?
No, that's the libraries. This is
Yeah.
the museums. That's,
Oh.
we pay them differently. That comes out of non-departmental. So we take 15,000 out of the hotel motel, but 5,000 of that is the pool. So then I take 2 museums out of that. Because Harris still's getting money too for their museum. I'm assuming they're still using it for, they never come, but,
Okay, which one is the museum?
okay, so it comes out of 2 different lines. So on page 4
Of what?
of non-departmental, that hotel motel tax, we use money out of that. Where's it? Yeah, I know. I always gotta look for it too. I'll find it, I just gotta look. The museum we take out of a different line item than the others, or the, egg pavilion.
What is it 5 each, get 5,000?
Yes, yes. Yes. It's in here.
That's okay, just one guy, just one more thing.
13.
Not written.
Yeah, then page 13, that 10,000, that's the other 2 libraries. And then I have another line item just for the farm shed, that comes out a different line. So on page 13 is where the rest comes out of. The farm shed is a separate thing of 5,000, and then the 2 other libraries get 10, or 5 each.
What can you say?
Page 13, a non-departmental. It's that, the 600, then that 5,000, that's a farm shed that we give. And then the last line, that 10,000, it says, that's where the other 2 libraries come out of.
Museums.
Museum, sorry. I'm confusing you, that's why you're confused.
No, no.
Sorry. Obviously I am too. So Ochin, Ashton, Sibley, and Harris all get $5,000, and then the farm shed gets 5,000.
Page 4 is 2 museums
And the
5,000 for the pool.
And the pool, yep.
They're asking for the same again this year?
Didn't really say, so I'm assuming so. Didn't ask for any.
Something the same.
They never talked to me beforehand, so I'm assuming it's the same.
Okay, any more discussion on, museums? If not, we can, let's see, we got a little time. Claims. I guess if there is there any thoughts on, I know Mike had his thoughts on the museum. Anybody else got any comments? Okay.
I would just raise my same concern as if the Ocheyedan one has that UR funds available to them, if that's something that can address those needs for the time period that that's available. Not that they should be in the rotation, but if that's a separate funding stream, if that is what we're focusing on first.
And that's possible to do that?
I don't know all the ins and outs or how the wording is.
Well, he just was thinking different funding source, right? Yeah. Okay.
Claims 1338 and 1369 to Boswell Water Service.
13 what, 1338 and
69.
Supported. And motions and support for those two claims. All in favor? Aye. Opposed, same sign. Abstained. It just caught my eye. The engineer, Hawkson.
All right, let me look.
It was claim number 75438. It just says show. Just curious.
Says,
Rain cover,
it says parts for shop repairs.
that's not a big deal.
Is it filter water, Rusku spin down,
No idea.
and a mesh, filter mesh?
Motion on the rest of the claims. Motion by Schultz to pay the rest of the claims. Support.
Second.
Support from Manningham. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Jack gonna be on the phone or is he coming?
No, he's gonna be on the phone.
That will be closed.
It will be?
Yes.
Yeah, it will be closed.
Maybe, maybe Rochelle, I don't know for sure. Maybe Jeff said it.
Okay, I'm just, things here, oh God.